Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to the Ashes magazines from Ludus Magnus Studios. Issue number 8, part 2. If you didn't check out part 1 for whatever reason, head back over and check that out. We kind of do a quick glimpse through the magazine, and then we start looking at all the stuff for the characters. So we have the new architect in this set. So we look at the Nova Aetas Renaissance stuff in there. There's new hero sheets. Starts off as an architect, and then he becomes either an engineer or an antiquary using either automatons or using a relic deck, which is really cool. So you looked at all those different things there. This video, we're going to go over his Black Rose Wars avatar deck, as well as the Requiem for Magic companion. So let's jump into the Requiem for Magic one really quick, because that'll be the quicker of the two. So here is our miniature again for him. Since we looked at him in the last video, we'll show him off here. A little quick view. So we're going to get Fabio Langenhosen as a companion. So he has 4 health, 3 movement, and 1 attack. We are also going to get some different cards. When we get his token, his 4 actions, 3 movement, and 1 attack, as well as a question mark 1, which on the opposite side shows them all being used, or it's his symbol, so you can use him as a reoccurring companion. So it says, in the tireless companion is on, you may exhaust one of his tokens, attack tokens. If you do, place 2 cubes onto a hammer you own. So it's just going to help you build some stuff up a little bit quicker, it looks like. I'm going to back this up just a sec. Oops, maybe I won't. So he has 3 action tokens available for performing a walk action and 1 token used for fight to perform his special actions. In fact, Fabio is a hero in his own area, Hexagon, to recharge the spent use of an equipment, effectively repairing the item, which thus is able to be used longer. To add Fabio to your future adventure, simply read the following text box. So he has reoccurring command is not tied to a specific character nor a plot of a campaign, but is created whenever there's a loot reward token drawn from a random reward. A recurrent companion is used in any quest of the Requiem Downfall of Magic. Add your token to that and those random rewards. Always keep in mind there cannot be more than 4 recurrent companion tokens amongst the random rewards. When a player draws a token of them, they gain the token or the model if available. Use the corresponding companion card. That player becomes your owner and recreates the companion. It's activated from the moment on the tile the character is located. When a recurring command is activated, follow the companion rules described in the core rulebook. When a recurring command is defeated or is lost, the token is shuffled back amongst the random rewards, and their cards return to the common pool. So basically, you can show up in any mission. I like the fact is they have a token you can use, or you can use his miniature, which we have the miniature. Awesome. So then we want to look at the avatar for Black Rose Wars Rebirth. So pop this back down a little bit and zoom back in. We can. Alright, so here's his avatar card. So if you're not familiar for whatever reason how the avatars work, is basically they're an automated or AI controlled artificial intelligence that the Black Rose uses to face off against things. Normally when you're playing the game against other players, there are cards that affect the Black Rose just to do damage or takes control of things, and they're slowly trying to earn power points to win anyhow. What this does, the avatar does, is basically allows the being or the essence of the Black Rose in the game to now have a physical character in the game, to move around the board and just to do more things other than just relying upon how the players act. So they get their own 30 card command deck, 10 cards for each of the different phases of the moon, which determines how they act. It determines what actions they take and what spells they take. Otherwise, they essentially are playing like another mage in the room. This also allows you, though, to play either solo play, because you can play 1 player versus the AI, or if you're playing like a 2 or 3 player game, or even more, you can add in that extra character. So if you want to play a 2-player game, but you'd like to have a 3rd player, so you have somebody else to kind of compete against, you don't always have to target each other, this should be the way to do it. And that's the basis idea of how those guys work. So he has 8 health, he has 0 attack, and he has 1 movement. So this is going to be a very different one to play. And that's just needs all the different avatars play very different from each other. It says, while exploring the ruins of the lodge, Architect's mind was dominated by the Black Rose, turning him into her puppet at his service. Now his sole purpose is to restore the halls of the lodge to their former glory. So his goal in this game, it sounds like it's going to be just to repairing everything and not necessarily trying to damage people. He has Dominion. If the Architect has to activate when he is not in his cell, he does not activate and place himself in the Black Rose Room. And he has Special Completion. Each time the Architect must put any amount of instability but cannot place any, he gains 1 Black Rose, or 1 Rose point. So he's going to keep trying to build stuff, and then eventually as the rooms get built, he's just going to start gaining power points. If we flip it over, there's nothing on the other side. Just seeing if there's any other thing that we needed to know about. There's other different rules in the book that you talk about. I'm not going to get into too much of those. But yeah, then he places his card. So we do have one other additional thing here we get in here is we get this little board here, which is for the duels. So this is the dual avatar. Avatars are artificially used in Black Rose Wars Duel, replacing a human player for a single-player game, or adding it to 2-player as a third game, making the Black Rose more challenging. Avatar can also be used to play in the game in solo mode. Avatar behaves like a mage. So this was extra design, kind of designed for him to be played in the Duels version, but he can be used just as well in the regular Rebirth. So it has 2 skills described him. We looked at those already. His setup, basically all that stuff's the same. It says, avatars just like control all players, acts as additional all rose symbols on the game, refer to them. Uses the Black Rose tokens, power damage, and your power points. Once you know what damage was set, take out all cards of the avatar components. Model, avatar dual card, and avatar command cards. Combine this into the first, second, and third moon. Place the avatar model in the Black Rose Room. Place the avatar dual card near the game board and place it near the avatar card shown in the image. Place the first moon avatar underneath the grimoire hand slot of the avatar dual card, and the third avatars will not be used until the game. Will not be used in the game. Place them aside. So because we're doing duels mode, which is a little bit quicker, they only use the first deck. But if you're playing the full Rebirth game, you're going to use all of it. So basically what this card is, because if you're playing Rebirth, you have a full avatar board. So you have that to go ahead and use. And if you're playing, you could go ahead and use that if you already have duels. You could just use that big board if you like instead of this tiny card. This just gives you the option for the quicker games. Yeah, so very simple there. Alright, then let's take a look at his deck of cards. So, and if you see any of the other Avatar videos, we'll kind of bounce through these a little bit quicker because as we start reading them, the effects start to repeat themselves. A lot of them, especially his, I think he's a little bit more simplified character. But we have design. So this would be for the first Crescent Moon or the only deck you're using if you're playing in duels. And obviously you could jump to one of the other decks if you wanted to make the duels mode a little bit harder. If you jump to like the third deck, it's going to be a lot more harder because the effects are the idea that you've spent time building up your deck. So it's just going to make it more difficult. So this is going to look kind of like a mage's turn. We're going to have the action. So this is him doing his physical action. He's going to place himself, the card is called Design. Place himself in the Black Rose Room. And then he's going to cast a spell. Contingency, magic ability, and it's going to target a room of 0. He places 2 instability. That's all he's going to do for that turn. And he gets to play, I think, 3 of these every turn. 2 or 3 of these. He has an attack plan. So he does his nuts physical. I think he places 2, but he could place up to 3. So his action is he places himself in the nearest red room with the least instability. Then he does his magic, which is a combat spell. Targets for 0 space. Places an instability and inflicts 1 damage to each mage. Tombstone Art places himself in the nearest gray room with the least instability, and then he's going to attack with a combat, places 1 instability, converts each damage to each damage in mage 1. Opening the safe, places himself in the nearest yellow room with the least instability. A contingency spell places 1 instability, steals 1 power point from each mage in that range. Secret Passage places himself in the nearest blue room, least instability. And then his spell is places 1 instability. Each mage discards 1 card from their hand. Gardening places himself in the nearest green room. Contingency spell places instability, heals 2 on himself. Patronal Baths goes to the purple room, least instability, and then he does an attack for places 1 instability, puts 1 damage to each mage in that space, each model in that space, and gains 1 rose. Build, so just a spell card, no action, converts 1 instability, places 1, and then draws another card. And then he has Demolish, converts 2, puts 1 damage to each model, and draws another card. And then finally, Planning just gains 1. So this is very simple, but again, it's to either give you someone to play against, so you don't have to play a dual hand against yourself, or to add that third little extra nuisance in there. If you're playing like a full Black Rose Wars Rebirth game, it's just going to be an extra little guy in there. It's going to be, maybe not as challenging as some of the other expansions or stretch goal stuff, but it's definitely going to be something a little bit neat. And this might even maybe replace, for some people, if you want to have just an extra AI character, this might even replace the Possessed from the base game, because he has a little bit simpler stuff. He's not doing all this attacking, and it's all basically move to this room, placing stabilities, and then he's going to do it. Why it makes it a little bit more challenging, though, for duels versus Rebirth is because in duels, once all the rooms are flipped or been activated, they're done. Where especially as the game goes so quick, you're not going to activate them multiple times. So him dropping a bunch of instability and trying to do that is going to try and end the game a little bit quicker that way, or shut off resources. Where in Rebirth, the game is going to last a little bit longer. So he might change, and there's more rooms, so there's more options to drop stuff and this and that. Especially when it says like a colored room. Well, there's only 1 of each color. But like in the full game, there's 3 of each color, so he has different options to do. So yeah, very interesting. Then we jump to his second phase, which is the Half Moon. So if you're playing the full game, we're going to get more. They're basically just going to be upgraded effects of each. So we have Advanced Design, goes to the Black Rose room. Then his spell is places 3 and puts 2 damage to each. Puts 1 damage to each mage 2 spaces away. Battle Plans goes to the Red room. Places 1 instability and puts 2 damage to each mage 1 space away. Graveyard Art goes to the Gray room and places instability, converts 2. Opening the Treasury goes to the Yellow room, places 1, puts 1 damage and steals a point. Secret Doors goes to the Blue room, discards 1, replaces 1 instability, discards, each mage discards a card 2 spaces away. Cultivating goes to the Green room, places 1 instability, inflicts 1 damage, and then heals 4. Patronal Hall goes to the Purple room, places an instability, inflicts 2 damage on each model, and then gains a point. And then Construct converts 2, places 1, draws a card. Destroy converts 2, converts 1 health damage, inflicts 2 damage, and then draws a card. And then Scheduling gains 2 points and puts 1 damage to each mage 2 spaces away. Awesome. And then his final one, which is the Final Moon, he's going to have Black Rose room, places 4 instability, 2 damage to each model 2 spaces away. War Plans goes to the Red room, places 1 instability, inflicts 3 damage. Crypt Art goes to the Gray room, places instability, converts 2 damage. Opening the Vault goes to the Yellow room, places 1 damage, inflicts 1 damage to each mage 2 spaces away and steals a point. Secret Rooms goes to the Blue room, places a instability, each mage anywhere discards a card. Blooming goes to the Green room, places 1, inflicts 2 damage, and then heals 6. Patronal Studio goes to the purple room, places 1 ability, inflicts 2 damage to each model, and gains a point. Engineering converts 2, places 2, draws a card. Knockdown converts 3, converts 2, inflicts 2 to everyone, and draws a card. And then the last one is Foresee, gains 3 points. You can definitely see, like, it says if you're playing the duels mode, only use the first deck. A little bit simpler, doesn't matter. But if you want extra challenge, you could up to the middle deck or the last deck. So I think it's kind of a fun idea. And plus, you could now use this concept. Now that you know the rules for this, you could switch in any avatar from any of the other games. But again, I think it's going to be the difference between the duels avatar and the rebirth avatar is there's less rooms and less turns. So some of their abilities or effects might not kick off as well, or they might be a lot more devastating. Because here's the thing, like, you're playing some of these where it's like, oh, inflict 2 damage to a guy every space 2 spaces away. Well, in the duels, they're... see if I have a good picture of that. So, like, in the duels here, there's only a couple of tiles. I think there should have been 2 more tiles on there they didn't show, but yeah, they're over there for whatever. I think is once they're done, they're off the board, maybe. That's not right. But yeah, so you're going to hit, so every effect is going to hit guys a lot quicker because there's only so many spaces away. Like, you're in the center room, it's going to hit everybody because everyone's 1 space away. But when you're playing a full game and everyone is much farther away, so, like, there's a comparison for that. So, like, yeah, there's a lot more tiles. So if you're in the middle of the Black Rose room and you hit 2 spaces away, you could avoid it by being somewhere on the outside. Or if you're in the corner, you're going to definitely avoid it if you're on the other side. So there's a lot more options for avoiding stuff. But it's also the same thing with playing some of the other evocations with the duel mode. Not evocations, the avatars. Is... someone place down tokens in different rooms. When you have 20 rooms or whatever it is, I don't remember how many are in the original, I think it's like 20, they could be spread out a little bit more, and it might be harder to land on them or get to them. You're playing it in duels mode, and they're going to be in every room very quickly. You're going to be hitting them all the time, activating or picking them up. It's going to change the outcomes. It's kind of interesting to see. It'd be fun to play as all of them in either mode. But that's really cool that we got both of... We got the ability to play that. Plus we got a new character, which is always fun. Alright, so that's what we have for Ashes Issue 8. As I find more of the Ashes, either the older issues, or if I can pick up any new ones as they come out, we'll keep doing these series. If you have any questions or want to see some more stuff in there, a little bit better detail, let me know. See you guys later. Bye.